Hi friends, welcome to IASN YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about what is Angular. Let's see what is Angular. Before we are going to deep dive into this Angular topics, let's see where we are using this Angular applications in the software application development. So here you see naturally we are having the three layers, that is a front end, logical and database. In front end where the user interaction is going to be happen. In the logical or the logical related data is we are going to write. For that we are going to use Spring Boot or uh, .NET or Python or PHP. And moving to this database where we are going to store all your data. So for developing a front-end applications, we are going to use the Angular. So now you understand where we are using the Angular applications in the application development. Now we are moving to the next one. What is Angular? Angular is popular and open source framework and used for building a dynamic and single web page application. It is maintained by Google. Angular allows a developer to build a complex web application with features like data binding, dependency injections, routing, and modular architecture. As you already told that, it is mainly used for developing a front-end application. Let's see what is a single page applications in detail. Single page application is a type of web applications or website that operates on a single and dynamic page, unlike the traditional web pages. In traditional web pages, which reload the entire page for the each new interactions. But the SBA load all the necessary content and resources only once and subsequent interaction with the app are handled dynamically without a full page load. Now you see we are going to see what is SBA in detail. Now you see this is our website. Now I like to navigate from getting started page. Okay, so when I'm going to afterwards I like to navigate to adding navigators page. Okay, you'll be fine. It is not the load the entire page. Only the particular page is going to be get loaded. That is what the single pages application is all about. Here you see, it is not load the entire page. That is what the single page applications is all about. Now we are going to see the some commands and prerequisite which is required for an Angular applications learning path. The prerequisites is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and TypeScript. Okay, so now we are going to install Angular applications in our system. For that, we need to use the commands. The command for installing the Angular application is the npm install -g at angular/cli at which versions you are going to use. After that, we are going to create a project by using the command ng new and Angular projects. So this is the command is used to create an Angular projects. Before you're going to install the Angular, so you need to have the Node.js in your system. You need to install Node.js in your system. Now we are going to install Angular. That should be followed by we are going to create a projects. As I already installed Node.js, in case if you want to know how to install the Node.js, please move to the TypeScript videos. In the TypeScript videos, I included how to install the Node.js. What are the commands is required? So which is there in my playlist. Kindly refer it. Now we are moving to this how to install the Angular applications in our system. For that, I'm going to open the command prompt. Now you see the command prompt is get open. I'm navigated to this directory. I'm going to create a directory MADAR Angular projects CD Angular projects. Now you see as I already installed Angular in my system. Okay, so but I'll just type a command and I'll show you how to install the Angular in your system. Before that, ensure which node versions you are using. Okay, so I am using version 22. Okay, so now I'm going to install the Angular in my system. For that, I'm going to use the command npm that should be followed by install and then -g, then angular/cli. Okay, so at angular/cli. Here I need to mention which versions I'm going to install. So as of now, Angular is having up to 19 versions. I'm going to install the 15th versions. So I am explicitly mention which versions I'm going to install. So 15.2.0 and press enter here. It will be taking some time to install the Angular applications in our system. So now you see we have successfully installed Angular in our system. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a new project. For that, I'm just going to type a command that is ng new. The project's name is demo1 and click enter. So it asks the router, do you want to add the router? Yes, I'm going to give yes. And then CSS, yes, I require the CSS version. It's installing, sorry, it's creating a projects in a directory. Listen, now the Angular is successfully created projects in a system. Now we are going to open this applications on the Visual Studio Code. Now we are navigating to our directory. First we navigated to our directory first, that is cd demo. Now I am going to type dir. Here you see all the Angular infrastructure files get created under this demo on projects. Now I am just going to run this application to check whether it is created properly or not. By typing this command ngserve -o, so it's going to execute our Angular applications. Now it's going to open our applications on the browser. It automatically get opened. Why? Because we give ngserve -o. Now you see this is the output for our Angular application. Initially we are having it's confirmed, this page confirmed that our Angular application is successfully created. Now what we are going to do, we are navigating to the Visual Studio Code where we are going to write all the code. For that, I'm just going to navigate to Visual Studio Code. Here you see our project is successfully open on the Visual Studio Code. So here you see these are the files which is present on the Angular. So now I'm going to walk through all the files and I'm going to explain what is each file is all about. So first the folder is going to be node underscore modules. It is nothing but it is a dependencies. Okay, so these are the files which is required to run your Angular applications, which is present under the node underscore modules. Then that should be followed by src folder. This src folder will contains all the applications and asset folder. First, we are going to see the file is app component. So here you see each component will contains 4 files. First, you need to understand what is the component, right? Okay, so here you see the each website is going to be hold one or more, more than one component. Just consider this is a one website. Just consider this is a one website. Here you see we'll be having some content over here. Okay, so then you're having some form registration form over here. That should be followed by another content over here. Okay, so here each of this information what we are seeing on here is going to be one component. Okay, so this is one component. Okay, so this is one component, and here this is another component. Okay, so all this component is integrated into the main component, that is what it is called app component, app dot component dot html page. Okay, so where we are going to integrate all the main component. Okay, so here each component will contains 4 files. Each component will contains 4 files. What are the files? The first one is going to be a CSS file, cascading style sheet, and then second one is going to be a HTML file, and third one is going to be a TypeScript file, that is a TS file. Another one is going to be a spec.tss file. What is the spec.tss file? What is CSS and HTML and TypeScript file? Okay, so CSS file is for the designing purpose, styling for the one particular component. As I already told, right? Okay, so this is the one component. Okay, so in case if you want to apply any designs on this particular component, you can write the designs on the CSS file of the particular component. Okay, you want to display any information in the structure manner. So for that, you are going to write the HTML code on the particular component. You want to write some logics to pull the data from the front end to the back end, or transferring the data from the front end. Suppose the user is going to write something and going to click the submit button means, okay, so this information after they give the all the information and click the submit button means, so that component will take all the information through front end, that is HTML file, to the TypeScript file. Then the TypeScript file will we are going to write the code, what operations we are going to perform. So all the logic information we are going to write inside this TypeScript file. Then what is a spec.tss file? This spec.tss file is nothing but testing file. So for that particular component. Okay, so in case if you want to write the testing for this particular component, you can write it on the spec.tss file. So this is all about the component. So now we are moving to this. What are the app component, main component will contains? As I already told that, so each component will contains 4 files. What are it? One is CSS file, another one is HTML file, another one is spec.tss file, another one is component file. Okay, so now you see we are having the some default output after we install our after we create our projects. So it will be contains some default output, right? Okay, so we don't want that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove this. Okay, so now you see I'm just going to type some paragraph as some h1 tag. Okay, h1, welcome to Angular world. Okay, so I'm just saving this file. After saving it, I'll be just going to move to this browser, and I'm going to click this refresh button. Here you see we are not get the updated. Why? Because we have stopped the server. Okay, so now I'm going to rerun this application. So here you see, for that you need to, in the Visual Studio, move to the terminal, click the new terminal. So this terminal is going to be get open. Ensure that you are in the right projects or not. Okay, so here you see the project name is demo1, here also demo1. Now we are going to check whether our output is replicated on the web pages or not. For that I am going to give ngserve-o. Press enter. Is going to generate the output and it is going to show it on the browser screen. Here is the welcome to Angular world. So now each component will contains 4 files, right? Okay, so we in the HTML file we are going to write all the HTML related tags. So what are the CSS tag? Okay, so in case if you want to apply any design for this HTML tags, okay, so you can write it in the CSS tag. So here you see we are having the h1 tag. Okay, so I'm just going to write in the h1 tag, I want the color should be something like that, something like green, sorry, blue. Okay, so I want the text should be applied in the display in blue color. Okay, so after I'm writing the CSS design, okay, so what this property is, in the h1 tag I'm going to display the text in the blue color. Okay, so here you see now the text is going to be changed to the blue color. Okay, so hope you understand what is the purpose of HTML tag, what is the purpose of CSS tag. And moving to the TypeScript file, this is a TypeScript file will contains the import section and at component annotations and classes. What at component annotation is going to be included? Here you see in the at component annotations we are having the selector tag and then template URL and then style URL. What the selector tag is all about. So you want, as for that I'm just going to open this diagram. Here you see in this component, as I already explained, right? Okay, so in this one particular web pages we are going to include one or more component, right? One or more component, these are going to be, each of this is going to be one component. Okay, so you want to include another component, that is this component. Okay, so you want to include this component on here. So for that you having some selector tag in each component. So you are having the selector tag on each component. You need to give the selector properties values in the main component, so that this component output will be going to display it on here. So likewise you are having the another component. Okay, so that is just considered as another component. You're having the selector tag in this particular component. Okay, so some values you return, right? Okay, so you want to display this output of this particular component on here means, so what you need to do, you need to include the selector tags on here. Whatever the selector values on here, you're going to just include it on here. So that is what the selector tag. Okay, so now you see we are moving to this. Next one is going to be template URL. So what this template URL? So as I already suggest, each component will contains 4 files. You want to include this HTML file for this particular component, which HTML file you want to call or display. So you're going to include this particular HTML file on here. Here you see for this main component, app component, I'm going to call which HTML file, app.component.html. So I'm just going to make a call to this particular HTML file. Okay, so whenever I'm going to call this component, so this HTML page is going to be get display. So here the next one is going to be style URL. In style URL, we are going to mention which CSS file you need to apply, which CSS design is need to apply for this particular component. Here you see app.component.css file. So this is a CSS file, right? Okay, so here you see we mention h1 tag. What is the color text color for the h1 tag we written, right? Okay, so we are going to mention this component should use which CSS file, app.component.css file. Here you see we are going to write all the logics inside this class file only. Here you see we are having the inside this class we are having the variable name like this, title equal to demo. Okay, so here I want to display this value on the our HTML page. How it's possible? Here I am just going to change this value into IISN. Okay, so I want to display this informations on the HTML page. So for that, what I need to do, I need to use one special operator, which is going to be a um, interpolation operator. Okay, H3. I'm going to put double flower bracket and I'm going to call this variable name on here, title. Okay, so I'm just going to move to this output screen. We are going to get the output like this. Welcome to Angular world. Here you are having the variable name values which is stored on the title tag. Okay, so this title tag values we are having is IASN, that we are going to display it on the Angular page like by using the interpolation operator. In case if you are going to create one more variables, okay, so what you need to do, as you know, so this Angular application using the TypeScript. So how you are going to create a variables in the TypeScript? As I already taught you on the TypeScript videos. So in case if you don't know, if you're not aware about the TypeScript concepts, please refer that video. So here I'm going to create a variable name which is first name. So it's going to be a string data type, string equal to, I'm going to give the variable name value as Vinod Kumar Silva Arasan. Okay, done. Okay, so then department. Okay, so which data type? It is going to be string data type. Okay, so I'm going to give computer science. The value as computer science. Okay, so first name, department, and location. I'm going to give this data type as string. Okay, so it's India. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to display all the information whichever we are having on this particular variable name, first name and department and locations on our HTML page. How to display this information on the HTML page means same as interpolation operator. Inside the interpolation operator, we are going to call the particular variable name. So here I'm moving to this HTML page. First, I'm going to put the paragraph tag. Okay, so inside this paragraph tag, I'm just going to give username colon. Okay, so then that should be followed by interpolation operator. Inside this, I'm just going to call the variable name. Okay, so what is the variable name here? We are having the variable name is first name. Okay, so first name, I'm just going to make a call. I'm just pasting this variable name inside this paragraph tag, and that should be followed by department, right? Department. Okay, so in the interpolation operator, I'm just going to call the variable name. That is, what is the variable name? It is dept, right? So I'm just going to include the variable name inside this interpolation operator. So that should be followed by location. Inside this flower bracket, I'm just going to include the variable name locations. Okay, so here what we are going to do, why it is locations, variable name, what's the variable name? It is location only. Okay, copy it and paste it over here. Okay, location. Location is not typed on the app component. Why? Because okay, so it's done. Okay, so there is some mistakes on saving the files. Okay, so now you see we are not getting any error. Okay, so I'm just navigating to the browser. Now you see we got the output. Username is Vinod Kumar Selvarsan and department is computer science and location is India. And this is a way how we are going to uh, display the information from the TypeScript file to the HTML file. And then this HTML file will project the output on our web pages. Hope you understand what is Angular, the basic things about the Angular concepts. Now I explain what is component. Hope you understand all the files which is present inside one component, and move into this routing file. What is the routing file? Let's see what is routing file. Okay, so this routing file will contains the details about the endpoint. So for example, here you see in Angular, in HTML, normally how you're going to create a navigations by using anchor tag, right? Okay, a href equal to some values www.google.com. Okay, so that should be followed by click here /a. So now when the user is going to click on this particular text, okay, so what it will be going to do, it will be take you to this particular website www.google.com. So same thing how we are going to include in the Angular. Okay, so we are going to include with the help of app.routing.module.ts file. So what is app.routing.module.ts file? It is nothing but in Angular, app.routing.module.ts file is a module that responsible for setting up and managing the routing, all the endpoints. We are going to give all the endpoints inside this particular file. It defines how the applications navigates between different views or components based upon the URL in the browser. Right? Okay, so that is the same thing here I explained, right? Okay, so when the user is going to click this particular text, it is take you to this particular URL endpoint. Same informations we are going to include on here. When the user is going to type something on the URL, so based on that URL value, it is going to call the particular component. All these informations we are going to include this routing file. Now we are going to see the what is routing file in deeper in the upcoming video session. Okay, so now I'm moving to this. What is app.module.tss file? This app.module.tss file will contains the complete informations about your projects. This app.module.tss file will contains under this ng module. Okay, so it contains the declaration section, import section, and provider section, and bootstrap sections. What is declaration sections? What is import sections? What is service provider sections? Provider sections. Okay, so we are going to see it in detail. Here, you see, first I'm going to mention what is declaration sections will hold. So this declaration section is going to hold the component, all the component information. It's going to hold all the component, whatever the component we are going to use inside our projects, but all component we are going to mention it on here. So we don't want to mention manually. When you're going to create a component by using the command ng-gc component name, okay, so it is automatically included in under the declaration section. But if you're not going to create by using this command ng, if you're going to do copy paste, okay, so that component name you need to mention it manually over here. When you're going to create a component by using the command, it automatically include. But when you are going to copy the component from some other projects to your projects, you need to mention the component externally over here. We are going to see in deep dive into how to include all those things in the upcoming videos. So then moving to this module. So this import section will hold all the module information. So we are going to see what are the models we are going to see in future. Means we are going to see HTTP module, routing module, activator routing module, HTTP module, forms module, reactive forms, all these things we are going to see. Okay, so all those models we need to include inside the import section. Okay, import section will contains module. What are the modules you're going to use? That modules you need to mention it inside the import section. What about the service provider section? Provider section will hold all the services file. This services file is going to be common for all the component. So what code you're going to write inside the services file means, for example, you want to make any networking call from front end to the back end. Okay, so that is an Angular application to the Spring Boot, or you're going to write any validation, all the information you're going to write inside the services file. Now, what it is a bootstrap is all about. When the Angular application is get loaded, you want to mention which component should be load first. That means that thing you need to mention inside the bootstrap section. Hope you understand what is app model. And moving to this asset folder. What is the asset folder is all about? Okay, so you want to give some images. You want to hold images or videos or some songs. So inside your Angular applications, you can include those things inside this asset folder. And then index folder is a this is the initiate. Okay, so where you're going to mention the which component should be get called. Okay, so here you see in the app in the body section we are going to mention that app-root. Okay, so for that I'm just before I'm going to explain this details, I'm moving to this component file. In the component file we are going to move to this app.component.tss file. So we want to display one component into the another component means what we need to do, we need to move to the selector and we need to use the selector values in the wherever we want to display the information. Okay, so moving to this app.component, here you see in the selector we mentioned that, so in case if you want to display the component on the main page, okay, so you're going to include this selector tag in the index.html. Here you see inside this index.html we include app root. Okay, so that is the selector values which is mentioned it on here. Okay, so that whatever the content you written on here in the HTML page, that information we are going to display it on here. Okay, so hope you understand all these things in the Angular concept. Okay, so now we are going to see how the execution flow is going to be get happen in the Angular when you're going to request something in the Angular application. That is when you are going to click this link. Okay, so that is we are loading this HTTP is a localhost of :4200. Okay, so what are the files is going to be get called? Okay, so how the initiation is going to be get happen? That is, first it is a browser request is initiated. Okay, the browser request the URL of the Angular application. That is this informations we are going to request, right? Okay, so then what it is going to do, it is moving to this index.html, load index.html file. The server responds by returning the HTML file to the browser. This file contains the static file structures and placeholder, that is app root. In the meantime, it is going to load all the JavaScript bundle file like main.js and polyfills.js file. After that, so in the meantime, before it is going to do all those things, the main.tss file is going to be get loaded. Okay, so here you see we are having the main.tss file, right? Okay, so this main.tss file is going to be get loaded. Here we are going to mention which module is going to be get called. here you see we have mentioned app module. Okay, so that is this one. Okay, here only we write, right? Okay, so which component should be load first? Okay, so the call is initiated on the main.tss file. From the main.tss file, it is going to be called the app.module file. This app.module file will include all the information, that is which component should be get called. That is what app component, right? Okay, so then it is get loaded. So now the browser loads execute the JavaScript code and the main.ts file is run. Okay, so it's bootstrap the Angular application by calling which module? App module. Okay, so from the app module, okay, so how it is going to be rendered? Okay, so Angular creates a root component, that is app component, and place it into the app.root app.root tag in the HTML file. Okay, so here you see we are placing into the app.root.html app.root app-root in the HTML file. The Angular application is now fully initialized and the Angular takes over the handle of routing and the user interaction and dynamic content is which is rendered on here. So this is how the initiation happened. Okay, so main.tss, then app module to this bootstrap. Here we are mentioning which component should be get loaded. So that component is get loaded. Okay, so here we are mentioning that app-root. Okay, so that will be given render on the index.html file. Hope you understand the working flow of this Angular application. All the what is each file is all about. Okay, so everything. Okay, so in case if you like this video, please share this video with your friends and please don't forget to click the subscribe and bell button. In upcoming videos, we are going to see in details about all the components and modules and everything. Thank you.